Hello, everyone. Today, we would like to greet you to say good morning from the United States and to say good afternoon from Moldova. Then today's event that is called Breakfast Intellectual Bites, and we have coffee with us, is one of the great number of the events organized by the Faculty of Philology of Aleco Rousseau Ball State University from Poland. And we're so glad that you, the people that are going to watch us, you are going to follow us live today. Then today's event, I would like to start with a quote. Then the quote says, "Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm." Then generally, it is one of the quotes that characterizes everything that is connected to the graduate school. And we today are going to speak about graduates and all the people that are in their journey in the graduate school. Then I would like, first of all, to express my deepest gratitude to all the people in Moldova, and namely to the Faculty of Philology that is hosting the event. And at the same time, I would like to thank today's guests. Then we have three ladies. Ladies, switch off the mic. Okay, then we have three ladies as guests. They are all PhD, either PhD students or PhD candidates in the graduate school at the University of Arkansas. Then it's my great pleasure to introduce our first guest. That's Liz Villamizar. That is a second-year PhD student in the Comparative Literature program at the University of Arkansas. At the university, she received the assistantship to be a Spanish instructor, teaching graduate students during her master's program in 2016 through 2018. She went back to her native Colombia, and then she was back in 2019, and she decided to enroll in a PhD program that focuses on the Spanish Golden Age, namely 16th and 17th century. In her native Colombia, she studied languages and literature, and she worked for more than 15 years as an English as a second language instructor. Thank you so much, Liz, for joining us.
No, it's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, our second guest, then you're going to observe that today we have people that generally come from different fields, and namely humanities, and that's Liz, and science. Then we have two guests that are going to represent the graduate program in science, and that's Rinalda Proco, doctoral candidate and research assistant in the molecular and cellular biology program at the University of Arkansas. She is the president of the student organization of cell and molecular biology, winner of the public prize in the 3 minutes thesis competition at the University of Arkansas, and the winner of the second place at the elevator pitch, the annual national competition of the American Association of Cell Biology. She completed her bachelor's degree in biology and Master of Science in Molecular Biology at the University of Tirana. She's from Albania. From 2014 through 2017, she worked as a molecular biologist at the Institute of Public Health at the Department of Infectious Disease Control in Tirana, with a special focus on monitoring viral diseases and assessing biosecurity risk. Thank you so much, Rinalda, for joining us.
Thank you, Victoria, for your lovely introduction, and hello, Moldova.
Okay. Hello, all the followers on Facebook.
Yes.
Okay, and the third guest that represents science, once again, that's Tatum Sims, and she is a PhD student in the Crop, Soil, and Environmental Science Department at the University of Arkansas. Tatum is passionate about youth development, and she focuses on enhancing scientific knowledge for the betterment of our economy, society, environment, and future generations. Tatum holds a Master of Science degree in Agricultural Regulations from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff and a Bachelor of Technology degree in Agricultural Production and Food System Management from the College of Agriculture, Science and Education in collaboration with the Nova Scotia Agricultural College. Prior to obtaining her master's degree, Tatum taught biology, integrated science, resource and technology, agricultural science at the secondary level for cumulative total of 16 years. And during that time was very active with Jamaica 4-H clubs, coordinating events and training participants for various activities. Thank you so much, dear ladies. Thank you, Tatum, for accepting the invitation. Then if you can observe Dr. Trinka is the dean of our faculty. Then she is the person, she's the host, namely we have organized the event for my university, Alecko Sobolski State University from Moldova. Tatum, thank you once again for accepting the challenge to participate in today's event.
Thank you so much, Victoria. I'm happy to be here. And hello, okay. Moldova.
Okay, good. Then, dear ladies, I think that everything that is connected to graduate school is so different in the United States. And I really believe that the people all around the world would love to hear your personal stories about the PhD journey. Then I have prepared a couple of questions to facilitate the discussion. Then in case that you want to jump in, you are very, very welcome. Then take turns at the moment you believe you want to provide with some examples from your long road to get a PhD degree. Then my first question is, why have you chosen the University of Arkansas for graduate studies? Namely, the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville and not any other university in the United States.
I can start if you want.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love that you start, okay?
So, in fact, it wasn't my choice, like directly, because I applied for Fulbright program for a PhD program, and during the process of the application, maybe some of you are familiar. It's like 1 year process and exams and interviews. I learned that I was accepted at the University of Arkansas, and I was searching more about this university, and I learned a lot of great stuff. But I wasn't accepted because of the Fulbright, because they had those time as limited in funding for PhD studies, because it's always difficult. So I received a research assistantship in order that I could continue my PhD studies. And in the beginning, I didn't know anything, but it was like love with first sight. So once I entered in the PhD program in cell molecular biology, I enjoyed a lot this journey that I'm still in this PhD journey. So yeah, this was my short, yeah.
Then you started with the Fulbright,
yeah,
and then you decided in the master program, and then you decided that you want to continue with the graduate school, and you applied for an assistantship in the PhD program. Good, thank you so much, ladies.
Okay, now go on, Tatum.
Okay.
Okay, so prior to coming here, I studied at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff for my master's degree. So the University of Arkansas, Fayetteville, where we're currently at, is the flagship institution for the entire group of University of Arkansas. So that was kind of one of my reasons. And I visited the campus and pretty much fell in love with it. It's a very beautiful campus. And I also looked at the programs and realized they offer excellent academic programs. So, and also they had a good international students cohort and supportive program. So those are some of my reasons.
Okay, thank you so much. And Liz, switch on your mic.
Yeah. So I did my master's degree here at the University of Arkansas. I was in Colombia, and I had a friend that did his master's here as well. So he said that the university had an excellent program for literature, and also they have the program of the assistantship, in which I work as a Spanish instructor for the undergrads. And in that way, I could live in this country and have enough money to pay the rent and my studies and everything. So that was the reason. Excellent support from the staff of the university, our professors, and help in other issues.
Okay, do you think that's easier to look for the graduate school at the moment you are through your master program in the United States?
Yeah.
Why?
The United States offers you many possibilities. So when you finish a master's degree, the professors encourage you to look for other universities or other programs here in the US. That wasn't my plan, but if I could have done it during the master's time, but I came back to my country because my plan was to work as soon as I graduated from the master's as a Spanish teacher in a high school in Washington, D.C. So I went back to my country to get the visa, the work visa, but the contract never, that part never ended up
worked out.
It
never worked out.
Exactly. So I stayed in Colombia for a year, and during that year, I decided to come back to the US as a PhD student. I had many possibilities to apply, but I say to myself, okay, if you are going to come back, it's better to come back to a place that you already know. So I applied for the same university that I did the master's because I wanted to to feel safe in many ways. So I applied again, now for the PhD. I did all the process, and then I started in 2019.
Okay, great. Then my question is, then generally, we have here humanities versus science. Is the PhD program identical for both humanities and science, or the PhD programs are different?
Are very different. So
okay, could you share a little bit the structure of your PhD program in such a way that the people are aware what the program looks like, and in case they want to apply for a PhD program in the United States, and namely at this university, they have a general idea what are those elements that they're supposed to pay attention to?
Okay, so first of all, humanities have a problem. So we know that the world is more focused on technological and scientific points. So every university in the US encourages more science than humanities. In fact, humanities faculties are being closed every year in every university of the world, not only in the US, in the world. So we have that disadvantage. Also, we can see as humanities that science has more fellowships, grants, scholarships than humanities. So that's a little disadvantage, but people need to understand the importance of humanities. So we are still working on that to show the importance of our careers and the importance to express and understand different points of view. And about the program,
The structure. Could you share a little bit about, could you expand on the structure of the PhD program, namely in the humanities?
okay, in the humanities, we have obviously like history, but I am on the track of comparative literature. That is my PhD program. So we have different tracks. I am in the Hispanic track, so that is focused on studying Spanish literature, but also there are other tracks in our program. For example, theater. We have one that is comparative literature going with archaeology, or there are others that go with education, especially in the acquisition of second languages or other languages. So we have some track that is related to applied linguistics. So there are many tracks. And
how many years do you have to study? What are you supposed to study, and when do you start working on your dissertation?
Okay, it's supposed to be 5 years. You need 60 credits, but if you have a master's, you already have 30. So you just need to have like 10 classes, and then you need to focus on the comprehensive test to be like a PhD candidate. And after that, I think that will be the 3rd year, and then you have like 2 years to work exclusively on your dissertation.
Okay, then in this way, until you submit, then you apply for the PhD program and you become a PhD student. You have many courses that you're supposed to take to complete those 60 credits requirement for the program.
Exactly.
And then in 2 years, you are supposed to submit a proposal. And the proposal will be a kind of structure of your future dissertation. That means you start working on the dissertation in the 3rd year. Am I right?
When you apply for the PhD, you send like the first draft of your dissertation. I call it like the PhD statement of purpose. So what is going to be your project? But the advisor and the director of the doctorate says, if you think that you modify the proposal or you want to change it, there's no problem. In fact, I changed it now. I was focused on women representation during the Spanish Golden Age, but I changed it to the idea of race in that exactly age.
Okay. Then generally, roughly speaking, you come with a statement of purpose, but that won't be necessarily the topic you are going to investigate in your dissertation. But your work on the dissertation starts somewhere in the 3rd year. Am I right?
Yeah. So you started to with the classes, you started to see if the topic that you have worked on. So anyway, so in your classes, you decided like, hey, I like this topic better. So you started read and research, but not exclusively focus on that.
Then you get informed simply in the first 2 years. Let's see what's the program like in science.
Okay, so
Rinaldo or Tatum?
I can start.
Yeah.
I think, science involves many departments, many branches. I can tell about the program that I am currently in cell and molecular biology. So the program is 5 years, but sometimes people will spend more than 5 years. That depends from the quality of research data. Sometimes people can do PhD till 6 or 7 or 8 years, but it doesn't mean to not apply for PhD. It depends about the research that you are currently working and about the relationship between you and your advisor. So in science, usually, generally speaking, like you start working in the research, because there is no time. We say there is no time to waste because it's very competitive. You need to publish. If you don't publish, you don't say we don't exist. I'm sorry for the tough term. But so you start working for the research that is going to be also part of your dissertation. So since the first day when classes start, your research starts. Being a research assistant, it means that you need to work 20 hours per week for the research, but sometimes it takes more because also you are working in your thesis. So you spend so much time in lab because you need to learn, you need to get used with the technique. After 29 months, you need to take the candidacy exam, which means that you should submit 3 abstracts to your committee. They're going to choose 1 abstract, and then you are going to develop in NSF, that is National Scientific Foundation proposal, or NIH, National Health Institute, like doing like a real project proposal with budget, with project aims, and so on. And then you need to defend that. After you defend that project proposal, with the presentation, the committee decides that you fail or you pass. If you pass, you should also complete all the hours in classes, and also dissertation hours. That is a certain number. Totally, classes and dissertation hours are 72 hours, but it's one thing that is nice is just you can, if you have a master degree, 30 credit hours can be transferred in your PhD. So you need to accomplish only 42 hours, which is nice. If you are great, if you work hard, you can finish PhD in 4 years or 3 years. These are genius. But yeah, it's an amazing journey. It's different from a department. But actually, cell and molecular biology at University of Arkansas is a program. It's an interdisciplinary program. We don't have a department, but many departments have this program. So in this program, we have students from physics, from biology, plant pathology. So it's an amazing because you can get you can interact with other students from different departments, and you are still in cell and molecular biology. And we are around like 200 students in this program. And yeah, it offers many opportunities. And the fact that it's just a program, and you are, for example, I am in CMB, cell molecular biology program, but I actually work also in plant pathology department. So I can have a variety of job if I want to pursue.
If we get to summarize the structure of your program, then the number of years depends on the data that you have gathered. In the case that you have enough data, then you can graduate in about 4 to 5 years. In case that you don't have enough data, then you can graduate in more than 5 years. Then from the very early, from the beginning of the program, you start working on the project. And in 2 years, when you take the candidacy exam, you're supposed to have 3 abstracts that in a way are going to focus on something that you have investigated and you want to continue to investigate.
No, let me correct.
Good.
This is going to be 3 abstracts that are totally different with your research.
Good.
Nothing.
Are they connected in a way to your research, or that's simply something that doesn't have any connection to your research?
Could be, you can use the same model organism, but you should study something totally different from your thesis, or it should be a method that you have been applying during your work in the lab, but should be studying something different.
Then it doesn't have any connection to the dissertation.
No.
Okay, then it speaks about those abilities that you develop within those 2 years. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, Tatum, I do know that agriculture as a kind of domain in the graduate school is very good here at the University of Arkansas. You can correct me in case that I'm wrong. That's the thing that I learned.
No, you're correct.
Good.
And
could you speak about the structure of your program?
okay, sure. So our program usually lasts around 4 years. The first semester, then you're required to start doing some reading. And I mean, there will be discussion between you and your advisor. Your advisor would have some ideas as to what your research would be about. And I mean, that's something you would have discussed in the initial stages when you had contacted your advisor and the advisor decided to accept you. So that would be, you would have a fair idea of what area your research is going to be in. So during the first semester, you're required to do additional reading and gather information on your topic. Then you're required to start your proposal, and it's recommended that you would have completed your proposal in the first year so you can form your academic committee and hold your academic committee meeting so you can start your research. Or probably you could also start collecting preliminary data during that time. But when you meet with your academic committee, then they'll decide whether you're on the right track, what advice they could give you if, let's say, your technique might not be too acceptable or too good. They can give you suggestions and stuff like that. Like Rinaldo said, the program requires 72 credits. 30 can be from your master's and the other 42 from here. Of that 42, 18 is required for your dissertation hours and the other 24 for academic classes.
Okay. Could you tell me now, Tatum, then generally, I don't know whether many people understand what a committee is, and how do you work, how tightly do you work with the committee throughout your PhD journey? Because you were the first to mention the term committee.
Okay, so your academic committee is a group of professors, including your advisor, that would help you to complete this program.
How many are they?
It depends. But
okay, minimum number, maximum number?
Minimum 5.
Okay, 5 people?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a maximum. But when you choose your committee, you want to choose persons from different, in the graduate handbook, it will tell you that you must have, I think, 3 that's from your department. You need 1 from another department, and I think 1 that can be from within the university. I don't think they have to necessarily be in your department. And in choosing your committee, you need to try to choose wisely. You need to choose persons. Say, for instance, you need a statistician to help you with your data collection and organization and help you with your experimental design and stuff like that. You also want to choose persons who would have taught you those critical courses that are going to be valuable to your research. You don't want to just choose arbitrary people. You want to choose persons whom you're familiar with, because at the time of your candidacy exam, you will sit at least 5 exams, 1 from each of your committee member. So you want to ensure that you're familiar with these people as much as possible. And they are persons who have in-depth knowledge into what your research is about, so that they can help you along the way.
Okay, then summarizing, you have the academic advisor, and then you have a certain number of people that will help you with the dissertation. That means that won't be a kind of individual work only. That means you are going to address to them every time you need help. That means that won't be the work of a person, that's the PhD student and the academic advisor. That will be a kind of complex work of a group of people, including the academic advisor and the PhD student. Am I right?
Yes, you're not really working directly. Well, you don't necessarily have to be working with your committee members all the time, but they need to have enough knowledge on your topic so that when you run into roadblocks, you can go to them and they can help you figure it out.
Okay, then statistics, as far as I could hear and could learn from other people, statistics is the most difficult course. Okay, for many of the PhD students.
It can be, but I mean, it's one of
Not
those critical
necessarily.
things. Well, not, it depends on your background.
Okay,
So,
then
yeah.
you're supposed to have a very good math background to be very good in statistics. Okay, thank you so much. I have another question. Could you tell me what were the challenges that you have encountered throughout your PhD journey? Let's start this time with Rinalda. With science people, and we leave humanities to the end.
Well, I can divide the challenges personally and professionally. Coming from another culture, coming from Europe, in another continent, like not knowing anybody. For example, when I came here, I didn't have any friends or relatives, so I didn't know about many things. The first thing was just like I contacted my roommate to rent an apartment only virtually. I didn't know about her. And when I went to check my apartment, it didn't have furniture. And it was the first day that I arrived, and it was in the weekend. So the classes will start on Monday. So luckily I had my sleeping bag. I slept on a sleeping bag. Yeah, when you don't know about the decisions and all that, and also when you are new in different places, there are these kind of struggles. But luckily, and I am happy to say that university is collaborating with the Friends and Furniture Ministry. So I contacted one of the representatives that I'm very thankful. His name was Bill, but he led this ministry to the other people that are doing very well. So they deliver furniture for free to student, to international student, as long as they finish their academic program. And once you finish, you need to return the furniture. But it was like amazing. Somebody can help you without asking anything. I was a little bit worried, who is that person that wants to help me for free? So I want to emphasize that the people, the community here is very welcoming. This was one of the challenges that I faced. That I still remember that day. Regarding professionally, it's like, for example, in US, life is very busy.
As everywhere in the world.
Yeah, well, it's like I really like of course, different, like I'm saying, different countries. I'm not saying that people, but here it's just like people work also in the weekends. And in the beginning, I was finding such a hard time to adjust with the language and with the culture, because even I study in Albania English, it's so different when you go to that country and practice your English. Because in Albania, we learned English, the British version, and then switching in American version, sometimes I had a hard time to understand. And yeah, but it was overall was well. Yeah, when you surround yourself with people that love you, and yeah, usually people are very welcoming and friendly, and they want to help you even outside of university, but also inside of campus. So they made that our little challenges that
Okay, big challenges were transformed in small challenges.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you for correcting me.
Okay, thank you so much. Tatum, what were the challenges that you have faced?
Okay, so most of my challenges, I would say, other than cultural differences, which I think I've gotten familiar with because I've been all over the place. But my major challenges were like time management, work-life balance. That's terrible, especially for me as a parent with a teenage child. Then you pretty much have no time for yourself. And as such, it's so easy to neglect your self-care and your health care by being so busy studying, doing research, doing all of that. So that was a challenge. And as such, that kind of led to some like lack of motivation. Like you find it hard sometimes to really get going. But pretty much those can be overcome. It takes a lot of work, but it can be overcome. But those were my main challenges.
Okay, then it's clear with science people. Let's see, what do we have? What phases do people in humanities generally face? Okay, referring to Liz's personal story.
They are kind of the same. So
it doesn't matter what kind of domain you have encountered, the challenges are the same. Okay, let's see.
So obviously there are some cultural differences that you get to see, to experience, to cry. But then as soon as you get used to, everything goes well. So here, generally, people are very friendly. They support you. And after that, more related to the professional point, and I am Spanish instructor, so I teach Spanish for undergrad. So it's the balance, like how much time you spend for your classes and how much time do you spend for your classes or your writing or your reading process. So it is easy to work Saturdays, it's easy to work on Sundays, especially almost at the end of the semester. That is the critical time that you don't sleep, that you don't eat because there's no time. But that's it. It's like a time management. As like I think that in the first year, the first semester, the cultural differences, you see that and you get used to. And then obviously we are students. Our budgets are also a difficult thing. So that's something that you need to manage, but you get used to.
Okay, good. We have a question from the Dean of the Faculty. Then you can see the question on the screen. What is the key to being a successful PhD student? And what qualities should a PhD student have in order to overcome the challenges the experience brings with it? That's because we are in the same topic with challenges. Then what qualities should you have to be a successful PhD student? Then what are those things, I don't know, major elements that determine you to become really successful as a PhD student and then as a PhD candidate? And what are the qualities that you generally develop or you come with them? Because sometimes you can possess these qualities. Sometimes you are supposed to train them all the time.
I would say being persistent.
Okay.
That's
for science only, or that's for any kind of domain?
Any kind. I learned since I started my PhD, even in the application of PhD, being persistent. And then once you enter, being persistent, never give up. It's going to be tough. I don't want to scare you.
Is there any room for failures?
There is room for failures. So science.
You're not all the time successful.
No. It's like fail, 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 fail. Success, fail, 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 fail.
Success.
You need to cope with a failure.
Okay. Then the ability to cope with something that doesn't go very well, that's the key to become to get the PhD degree. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Tatum?
Okay, so for me, I would say you need to have a drive. You need to love what you're doing, and you need to have a positive mental attitude. You will find times when you have to dig in and dig real deep, because there will be situations where you're faced and you're like, I'm going to give up. I'm ready to quit now. And you have to have something to fall back on. You need to have a purpose to say, okay, this is why I'm here. And as such, I'm going to persevere and I'm going to complete my program. You also need to have a support network, a group of friends, or some family. You need to, even though you're busy, you need to find time to ensure that you're connected with a support group. That is something that will keep you going, because when those tough times come, you need somebody to tell you that no, you can't give up. You got to go, keep going. So
Okay. Then I do understand what kind of support you're speaking about. Then I would like that you send your best regards to that company, supportive company. Our best regards to our supportive company. And now, Liz.
I agree with many of the things that they have said. So I think that the best thing is to be focused on your work. Okay, you need to love what you're doing. So if you're doing research about, in my case, certain book, certain author, you need to love that author. Otherwise, your motivation is going to be good. And that is one of the most difficult things, like to get like a motivation every day to learn more about it. Also, to be able to receive feedback constantly and to get those criticisms in a positive way. So I think it's not only like a growing academically, but also you are growing personally. And you need to be able and open mind about it.
Okay, I have something. If we are going to detach a little bit from the everything that we call graduate school, are there any fun facts in this kind of personal journey that you would like to share to encourage the others to take this road and to be a part of the big community of researchers? Fun facts. If there are any, because we spoke about failures and we know that these failures will definitely lead us to success, but are there any fun facts that keep you going?
Fun fact.
Yes.
I don't know if they're considered fun fact, but I sometimes we have experiments going on, and sometimes we consider like stupid mistakes when we do, and then we collect. For example, if we do mistakes, we have a box, and then for every mistake we put $1.
Okay, good. That's great. Then your lab will become very rich. The more mistakes you make, the more money your lab is going to get. Good. That's a fact.
In fact, that is motivation. I mean, this is not to motivate us to make more mistakes, but just to, like I said, to cope with the failure and go and have a meal together with those money that we save.
Great. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing, Tatum.
okay, I would say that see success as a card, like a card that you play, and for every side that you see failure, there's success on the other side. So if you flip that card over, there's success. You just need to do what it takes to get to the other side.
Okay. Liz?
I don't see failure like in the way that the science do it.
Fun fact, Liz. Fun fact.
So I don't see that like very often because we are focused more in writing and reading. But before pandemic, obviously, it was nice to share your points of view with your co-workers or your classmates. Obviously, now it is more difficult because before COVID, we met at the same place, we shared lunch, we talk about our life, our classes, our research. So that was really nice. But sadly, during this year and the last year, it didn't happen. But I think that's something that everybody is experiencing in this time.
But I think that the situation here is much better than the situation in Europe, because we still have a lot of face-to-face classes in here. We still meet on campus. We still go outside. The rate of death is very low, and the process of vaccinating the people is coming to an end, I think, at the end of May. That means the situation in the United States is really good. Okay, we have one question from our followers on Facebook. Then, do you always rely on yourself? I think you partially have already answered. Or are there people who inspire you to move forward to achieve your goals? Could you name people? Because I do know that you rely on yourself. Because if you were not that perseverant, you wouldn't be here. But could you tell the people that generally inspire to move forward and to reach that kind of long-term objective to get the PhD degree?
In my case, it has been the family. So during my master's, I really wanted to come back because I was not having a good time. But I finished my first semester, and when I said, hey, I wanted to come back, like all my classmates and workmates and friends and family said, hey, you already finished one semester. So you still have like other 3 semesters, and that's all. You need to see the positive points in what you are doing. You already finished one, so go on with the next, and then you go on with the rest of the program. And that's what I'm doing during the PhD. So obviously, I didn't have the first bad semester adapting to the US, but go on. So you finish a semester, you did great, so continue working on that. So you need that supporting team, family and friends that help you with the struggles of living in this country or the struggles of studying, but that will encourage you to go on.
Okay, family and friends.
Yes.
Okay, Rinalda.
I have a list of people.
Okay, you can share the names in case that
I
you
can
want
share the
to.
names, including, okay, first is my family, because I come from a family that has a medical background. They inspired me a lot to get into science. So I was exposed with science since I was a little girl, and then they inspired me to love what I'm doing and to be persistent. But also moving from my home country and coming in US, I have you, all of you lovely ladies that we always meet. And
we are many more. You're supposed
we
to
are many more. Yeah, we are many more, but like I want to say thank you to you guys for being like morally supportive, because it's important to have, I would say, like academic advisors, but also
spiritual advisors.
Yeah, spiritual advisor is so important. Like, yeah, surrounding yourself by people that they support you, they care about you. They can be, like I said, inside of the academic or outside. They can come from different backgrounds, that they can give you insights. So this is about you guys and our group that we always meet regarding academic. That is so important, and this is also responding to the question how you are going to overcome to PhD challenges. So we talk about academic advisor, we talk about committee, which is also they are all important, but also how you surround yourself also inside of the department that you are working, how you collaborate with your peers, with the other departments, with people at your facility, how nice you are, how friendly you are, because also it's like you feel better when you encourage. And also being as a PhD student, you are also mentoring other students. So it's like giving and taking. that positive vibe, I would say also try to find people, professor, speaking like they are in the same background that you are working, but you can ask them about job opportunities, postdoctoral, how about them, how they keep the balance between, like we said, work and life. So I had to talk with a professor from another university in Cambridge, here in United States, and she was sharing her experience, and she was encouraging me. Even it was like the first time that we met virtually, and she was encouraging me how to improve my resume. So this is also important, like finding also professors, they can help you to improve your resume, to have more leadership skills, not only focusing in lab. So being a good scientist doesn't mean that you need to spend all the time in lab, because this means like having only technical skills. A scientist must have a vision. So you need to work on that. You need to come with ideas. So you need to surround yourself by people that they are brilliant. So find these people. It's so easy with social media. It's
Okay.
so
And networking is the key. Networking is the key. Okay, thank you so much, Tatum.
Okay, so I don't want to start calling names or else I'm going to get into trouble because there are so many. But
Yeah.
I'll say for sure, my family and friends, they've been my rock, they've been my support, and they all will know themselves. Those who call, those who text, those who check in, and I am eternally grateful for them. So my advice to prospective students is to ensure that you have and maintain that support. Yes, you will lose some friends along the way, you lose even family along the way, but always ensure that you're surrounding yourself with people, and not just anybody, but positive people who will push you. You don't want those who, when you fall down, they say, okay, you fall down, just stay. No. Surround yourself with the ones that are going to tell you, no, you have to get up. It's hard, it's tough. Get up and let's go.
Okay.
So surround yourself with those people.
Then there is only one question, and that's a kind of your opinion about a quote. And the quote says, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out.
And I
You
agree
or you disagree, and why? And that's it.
I do agree, because if you observe everyone who is successful, they did not get there overnight. There are many other small successes that they incurred on their way there. So from day one, the moment you thought about being successful, you have already started on your success journey.
Okay, great. Liz?
I totally agree. So success is something that takes a long time. So it depends on your discipline work, the things that you do every day. At the end, you will see the results. So it takes a long time. It needs to work every day, focus on the progress of your idea, the progress of your project, but you can do it.
Okay,
good, great. Rinalda?
I totally agree what you said. Success is not a final destination, is not the top of the hill that you might imagine. Is like the whole journey, and you are working so hard on that journey, and try to celebrate every small victory, because that is part of your success. Like even a good grade or something.
Okay, or meeting the right people, the right person.
Yeah.
That's the kind of success too. Then generally, the people always boast about success, but when you reach something that's not necessarily that you were very successful throughout the way, definitely you fell down many times. Simply the people generally don't tell about it. That's the thing that mostly characterizes the graduate school. I do remember that I met a lady who told me you don't know what stress is until you get to the graduate school, because that's where the stress appears. Then, under this note, I would like to express my deepest gratitude on the behalf of the Faculty of Philology of Aleko Rusobel State University from Moldova for accepting the invitation and sharing some of your personal stories. We greatly appreciate you, and we greatly appreciate the tips that you have shared with us. We wish you success. We wish that you finally achieve that kind of desired goal to get your PhD degree. And good luck to all the people. Don't forget that graduate school is not that kind of stress. Think about the long-term outcome, that you'll finally enter the great community of researchers that in a way make our life easier, much more motivating and interesting. Thank you so much. Thank you to our followers and to all the people that asked questions and wrote comments. We would like to wish all the people success, but don't forget that that does not mean that you're not going to fall. Thank you so much once again, and have a wonderful end of the day for the Moldovans, and a wonderful continuation of the long day here in the United States. Bye. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.